Hey everyone, Alvin from Border0 here. Today we're going to dive into how Border0 dramatically reduces security risks and friction when it comes to accessing your databases. If you're like many organizations, you might have anywhere from a dozen to upwards of even hundreds of staff members and even contractors who might need access to your databases. Oftentimes, this access is provided in the form of staff using shared credentials within a secrets management or generic password management service like LastPass or 1Password, and it poses a security risk like none other. What if I told you that there is a better way with Border0 and a way that solves both the operational friction for end users and ensures we adhere to strong access security principles? I'm going to walk you through a scenario here of a company with a database server that has two different database instances within it. And they are the private projects database and a partners projects database. And let's say we have an internal support team who work on private projects and also support some of the partner projects as well. So they would need access to both, and they'd like that with read and write. Secondarily, we have some contractors who also work with the company and they need access to the partner projects DB, but only in a read-only fashion. So that's the use case that we have here. Let's start by showing you how these identities and groups look like in Border0. So if I go to team here, you can see that I've created a contractor user and a support team member user. For most organizations, you would probably, instead of manually adding users here, be integrating with an identity provider, such as that from Google, GitHub, Microsoft, and so on and so forth for single sign-on. And for directory services, you can also integrate with Microsoft Entra, which is Active Directory, Google Directory, and some other providers like Okta. As well, I've created groups for them. If I click on a group here, you'll see that there's one and only one member for now, and it's that contractor user. So this is the contractors group, and this is the support group with the one support team member there. Now with identities and groups ready, we'll be moving on to setting up the Border0 connector. So this is the scenario that we have. We have my algorithm private cloud or private network that we have here, and I have my MySQL server that we talked about with the two different database instances. For this video, I'm going to use a Docker container to establish a new connector, and I'll show you how this is done through the administrative portal here. So I'll just navigate to connectors. I'll say add a new connector. And in my case, I'm going to be using the Docker container for this. I will click the copy button here. And now I'll just simply load up my terminal and paste in this command here, which will go ahead and enroll with the correct token and link up with Border0's infrastructure. So in a few seconds here, you'll see that this will come online. There we go. It's green. It says that successfully created and started. Now the name's auto-configured. It's just called this unique string here. I'm gonna make it a little bit easier for us to read and understand. I'm just gonna call this my algorithm connector. And we'll hit submit here. There we go. So now that's ready. And just to illustrate where we're at, we've just created this algorithm connector. And now we'll go over and build the socket that we'll need for this connector here. So I'm just going to switch over again to the dashboard. So from within the connector page here that we've just created, we can click sockets. What we do want is to set up a new socket for MySQL access. So we'll search for MySQL here. So I'll click add and I'll pick MySQL, and I say I have my own MySQL server, and I'll go ahead and create a socket name for this. So for this, I'll just call it algorithm MySQL socket. And I will provide it with a few key things: the host name, how it can be reached from the private network that Docker container is in. Since it's on my local Mac here with Docker installed, I'll just use host Docker internal, and I'll use the standard port 3306 for MySQL. And for this simple demo case, I'll use a service username and password here, which, by the way, no one operationally will ever require referencing, except in the admin setup here. And finally, we double check the connectors that we want to attach this socket to. And in this case, the algorithm connector that we just created has been auto-selected. So I'll click on create new socket here, and there we have it. So we've set up our identities and groups. We've got connectors within our private network. We've got a socket created as well, specific to MySQL. Next, we'll go ahead and work on the security policy to allow the different groups or identities to be able to access the MySQL server. So for that, I'm going to go to policies, click on new policy here, and I'm going to call this one support policy. We want to enable databases. Now, to make sure that we lock it down, we're going to specify our partner projects database, and I'm going to allow read and write for that. And I'm also going to add another database, the private projects database now, and also give them read-write access. And with that, we're almost there. Now I just have to assign it to the groups that we've established earlier. So this is the support policy. I'm going to put the support team in the groups here that are allowed. As you can see, the policy can get quite advanced and granular, even where folks are coming from and even time-based. So pretty powerful stuff. So if I click create new policy, we've set that one up. Now, of course, let's set up another policy. Let's do the contractor policy, and I'm going to be doing the same thing here, enable database list. And I only want them to have access to the partner projects database. And in this case, read only. And what do we have to do again? Yes, make sure we apply it to the correct group. So we have contractors, and I'm going to leave everything as is. And now if you click on the access graph, you can see this beautiful graphical representation of what we just built here. So we've got, this is me as the main security administrator or owner of this Border0 account. So that's why I have access to all this. And here's the user support team member. So that's the end user account, and they have been added to the group called support. And then there's a policy called support policy, and then support policy provides access to the algorithm MySQL socket. Okay, with that all in place, we're done with the setup on the administrative side. Now let's have a look and confirm that it is all working as expected as an end user being a support team member or a contractor. So let's review what we just built. We've got the private cloud here. We've installed the connector. And with Border0, the connector called home, it enrolled itself into the right organization. We created a matching socket for this particular connector. We gave it the credentials as needed and the ability to connect to the private MySQL server. And we also applied some policies as per our requirements. So I've logged in here as the support user, support@algorithm.com, and you can see that there's one and only one socket available. If I click on that, I'm not fumbling around with looking for keys or anything. There we go, the databases show up. So as designed, we've got the access to either database. So I'm just gonna click on the private projects database for now. I'm looking at the private projects table, and I can see all kinds of things. Now, if you recall, we have the ability to read and write to these databases. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask the AI assistant here actually to say update projects with firewall in the name to completed. So I'm going to submit that. Oh, actually it's already completed. Let's change this. I'm just going to edit this SQL statement here. So instead of completed, I'll say in progress. I'll click run, and it says one row affected. If I click on this, which will do a select star again, you'll see that project firewall is now in progress. So that's working as expected. Let's look at the partner projects and double check that we're also able to read from it. It looks like it's all there. I'm gonna do a similar update here. Let's say projects with the name, let's say green instead of on hold. I'm gonna say that's completed. So with green in the name to completed. So it's generated a nice script for me here. One row affected. Now if I click on this again, there we go, the green energy project is completed. Okay, so we've confirmed that we can read, we can write on both databases, and this is for the support team member. Now let's have a look at what it looks like from the contractor role. All right, so I've logged in as the contractor, and just to really hammer it home that this is a different role, just for fun, I clicked on dark mode, so we know that this is the contractor mode, and of course in the top right here says contractor. There's the one socket that we have here for the MySQL socket. All right, so it's gone in and was able to connect, and you can see that there's one and only one database that we have access to, and that's the partner projects database. I click on the particular table and I can see the info here as expected. So that's the read side. Now let's see if we can actually make an edit to this, which we shouldn't based on our policies that we created earlier. So I'm going to say the same thing, update project with green in the name to in progress. Okay. So you can see that it says completed here, and now with the script, anything that has the word green in it is going to be attempting to update, but it should fail because of our security policy. And there we go. We can see that it is not allowed as expected. Beautiful. So if I click back on partner projects, which would do a select star again, you can see that that definitely was not updated. So that's fantastic. Now, finally, I want to show you a very cool feature with Border0 that is around the session logs here. And I'm going to click on sessions within the dashboard, and immediately you can see some very handy statistics of what are the top sockets, who are the top users using the system. And if you scroll down, you can see exactly the most recent sockets. Here you can see the contractor doing some things during a session, and this particular one is that session where I showed you that we logged in and we looked at the partner projects database, and then here's where we actually had a update query that was denied because of the policy. So that's fantastic. You can very clearly see what was happening. And similarly, you can see that here's the support session earlier, all the things that we were doing within it, including the update commands to SQL that were allowed. You'll see the rows affected. This is invaluable for compliance, auditing, the need for root cause analysis in an outage or incident. Our team truly believes that this will sharply reduce the mean time to know when you're troubleshooting, and you'll have absolute clarity and accountability for all of the operations that everyone is doing. Well, there you have it, folks. We've just witnessed how Border0 transforms database access from a security nightmare into a streamlined, secure process. No more staff complaints, no more auditor headaches, no more sleepless nights for your security team. Border0 supports a wide range of databases, including MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres, Amazon RDS, Google Cloud SQL, and we're growing the list more and more as we move forward. And the best part, you can start for free with Border0. We offer immediate access to playground environments so you can see how this would work for your team. So in summary, we talked about how every member of your organization can access databases without knowing any root or shared credentials, easy integration with existing identity management services, including leveraging your single sign-on, a powerful policy engine for granular access to databases, what commands can be ran, even what time they can be ran, and where people are coming from. Full session recording for bulletproof auditing and forensic. You can even have replays of the entire session should you wish to do that level of investigation. So just head over to border0.com and click Start Free. We love hearing from you and are always excited to learn about what might make operating your infrastructure more secure and easy to operate. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be covering other security topics and sharing solutions on this channel. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. Alvin signing off.